Activity 2, make a conjecture. So you can see in this worksheet over here, I've got the image from the warm-up as well as the transformed image for quadrilateral ABCD. Question 1 asks us to complete the table with the slope of each segment from the warm-up. So we're looking at like segment AB, BC, CD, and then DA, as well as the slopes from the transformed image or the image slope. And these are, you can see here, it was that 90-degree clockwise rotation. So this video is just going to be focusing on finding these slopes for AB and BC. I would like for you to try CD and DA on your own. So let's start off by looking at segment AB. So what's going to be helpful is to find the coordinates. So A is at 0, 0, and then B is at 5, -2. If you recall our slope formula, I'm going to write that over here. So remember, m represents slope, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Right, so this is our like rise over run, our change in y values over our change in x values. So I'm just going to label here my x1, y1, and x2, y2. So let's make this one x1, x2, and then we'll have y1, y2 over here. So I've got m equals my y2 minus y1. So my y2 is -2, and the y1 is 0. So -2 minus 0 over, we've got x2 minus x1. So my x2 is 5, 5 minus 0. So my slope of line segment AB, I'm just going to write like M subscript AB, is equal to, -2 minus 0, so that is -2, over 5 minus 0, which is 5. So my slope of segment AB is -2 over 5, so I'm going to fill that out here. -2 over 5. All right, let's look at the slope of segment A prime, B prime. Okay, so that is from our transformed figure, and you'll see that in green up here. So we know that we've still got A prime at 0, 0, and then B prime is at 2, +5, right? And if you're not sure where that 2, +5 came from, that was from the warm-up video. So we are at 2, +5. So again, I am going to label x1, x1, x2, and then we'll use this for y2, y1, and then y2. So we've got m is equal to y2 minus y1, so 5 minus 0. Over my x2 minus x1, that's 2 minus 0. So my slope of segment A prime, B prime is equal to 5 minus 0 is 5, 2 minus 0 is 2. 5 over 2. All right, we'll do segment BC, and then we'll get into the product section. So for segment BC, let's write our coordinates. So BC, B is at 5, -2, and C is at 6, 0. So let's make this my x1, x2, and then we've got y1, y2. So my slope is equal to 0 minus a -2 over x2 minus x1, so 6 minus 5. So we've got 0 minus a negative 2. Remember, when we're subtracting a negative, it turns into an addition problem. So we've got 0 plus 2 over 6 minus 5 is 1. 0 plus 2 is 2 over 1. So our slope of segment BC is equal to 2. Okay, so I'm going to put that here, original figure slope. And then we've got image. So let's put B prime, C prime. Coordinates of B prime. If you look up here, same from last time, 2, 5. And then coordinates of C prime are 0, 6, which we can see up here, 0, 6. All right, so let me put that in here. So I'm going to label my x2, x1, y1, y2. So slope, y2 minus y1, 6 minus 5 over 0 minus 2. 6 minus 5 is 1. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So the slope of segment B prime C prime is equal to negative 1 over 2. Great. So I'm going to put that in here. Now, we need to find the product of these two columns. So that just means multiplying each of these. So let's start with the first one, and I'm going to put like a little arrow for this up here. Negative 2/5 times 5 over 2. So negative 2/5 times 5 over 2. So on the numerator, I've got negative 2 times 5, which is negative 10, over, and then 5 times 2 on the denominator, which is 10. So negative 10 divided by 10 is negative 1. So I know my product is negative 1. Another way you can do this is, we can see, right, if we have a 5 on the numerator, 5 on the denominator, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So those can cancel out. And then if we have a 2 on the numerator, 2 on the denominator, those cancel out. So you're just left with the negative sign and then the 1 that's left over as a result. All right, same thing with this one. So I'm going to put like an arrow for this second row here. 2 times negative 1/2. And if it helps, you can imagine this is like a 2 over 1, right? So if I see that I've got like 2 on the numerator, 2 on the denominator, that's 2 divided by 2. So that just cancels out to 1. And then I've got 1 divided by 1 as well. So we're actually just left with negative 1 here. And if you were feeling a bit confused by this shortcut, just go back to the first approach I did for the first row. Try that out with the second row and see if you still get a product of negative 1. So now I'd like you to try finding these values for CD and DA by yourself.